If you're trying to decide which cutting machine you should get, I mean, to me, the choice is clear. Have a look at these screens that I'm showing you. I've cut these materials with the Cricut Explore. The very first item, it's on the right of your screen, is shrink film. And the thickness of that is 0.30 millimeters. Silhouette Cameo, or Portrait actually, cannot cut shrink film even when you've set it to cut 10 times, like a double cut 5 times. It doesn't cut through it. The next one on your screen is on the left, and it's acrylic. That one is 0.44 millimeters thick, and you can see there's a substantial difference between the shrink film and the acrylic. That's why I'm not even going to bother showing you cutting anything except the shrink film with the Cameo, because if it can't cut the shrink film, it certainly can't cut all the rest of the materials I'm going to show you, because they're all much thicker. Next screen now is showing you the difference between the acrylic on the right and the chipboard on the left. The chipboard is considered a heavy chipboard, and it's 1.06 millimeters. The next screen, I'm calling this a ripple board, and when I show you the last image, you're going to see what it looks like. I've got an image, another circle beside it to show you. That is 1.29 millimeters thick, and I did use calipers to measure all of this. You'll see in the video. This is a cork made by Contact, the same company that makes a contact paper, the shelf liner, and it's got an adhesive backing on it. This is 1.69 millimeters thick. The very last screen now shows you all of these items. They've all been cut with the deep cut blade on the Cricut Explore. And you're going to see that next to the material, I wrote in the thickness, which I measured with a caliper, the cut pressure setting in Cricut Explore that I used, in Design Studio I should say, and how many times it was cut. You can create all your own custom materials. There are a lot of them already listed in the material setting for Design Space, but you can add your own. The only one in here that was already in the system was the heavy chipboard. I used exactly what they already have there. I added the 4 others. So you can see also the material that I'm calling the ripple board. It's got that, it's a corrugated kind of material. Let me take you a little bit closer to see these items. That's the shrink film at 0.30, the acrylic, the chipboard, the ripple board, and the cork. Okay, so it's going to look a little bit funny because I've got the flashing go light here. My mat is inserted with nothing on it. That's because I'm writing down the settings for all of these materials, and I need to have that in that state to be able to do that. I just wanted to show you that I'm using my caliper to measure all of these materials. Okay, it's actually 0.30 for the shrink film. .44 for the acrylic. .29 for what I'm calling a ripple board. .69 for the cork, and this is a Contact brand, and it's got an adhesive backing on it. And 1.06 for the chipboard, and it's a thick chipboard. One by one, I'm going to cut all of these materials for you now. I'm going to start with the shrink film. And when I'm using thick materials like this, I always like to use masking tape, at least at the very top. And I'm just cutting out plain circles. Okay, so that has cut the shrink film out perfectly. And once you've set the material in Design Space, all you need to do is select the material. The number of cuts and the pressure and everything, it's already set in there. You just turn your dial to custom, and just before you come and press the go button on the machine, you just select your material from the list available there. Okay, so the next one is the acrylic, and you'll see that I've already done some testing. This is before it cut through all the way, and this is when it did cut through. So I'll put this down on the mat now. Put my masking tape in place. Just don't want to have the material moving around on the mat. So it's going to cut this 7 times. You need to realize that this is very thick material and it's very dense. Okay, so it cut right through that beautifully. It still has the blue protective film on it, which is there so that it doesn't scratch. It's the type of acrylic that you buy in a scrapbook store. Okay, and then next is the heavy chipboard. As you can see, that's where I had cut it out earlier. So I always put masking tape for chipboard for sure. Definitely don't want that to move around. And that's all it needs to get through this really thick chipboard. Sorry, I wasn't showing you on the screen, I guess. This really thick chipboard. Look at how thick this is. Okay, and I'm going to cut the ripple board. And again, this is a very thick material, so I will definitely put masking tape on the material to hold it in place. Load that. And press go. This is really impressive. Look how beautifully it cuts this. It didn't indent anywhere on there. Didn't push the material. The backing is perfect. I mean, that's a perfect cut. Look at this stuff. It's very thick and it's corrugated. Okay, and then the last material I'm going to show you is this cork material. Get my masking tape here. Notice also that this is cutting right up to the edge of the material. Perfectly capable of doing that. Build my mat. Just want to be sure that that's down well. I'm going to put an extra piece of masking tape on the side because this material seems to be curling a little bit. Press go on the machine. Let it think for a second. Okay, fingers crossed. Look at that. That's incredible. Look at this material. I would have shown you leather as well. It can cut leather, but I don't have any here. So I haven't done it myself. And look at the backing. It didn't cut through the backing. It's exactly right to cut it, but the backing is not cut at all. Not at all. And it cut beautifully. Just want to show you the deep blade. That's the deep blade housing in comparison to the regular blade. And you can see that the deep blade does come up quite a bit further. All right, so now we'll go on to the Silhouette Cameo and show you how it works with the shrink film, the thinnest of the materials I just showed you. Okay, before I start cutting with the Silhouette, I'm going to change the blade to a brand new blade to give it a fair chance. Actually, more than a fair chance, because I didn't change the blade of the Explore, and I have been using that machine a lot. So, whoops. So I'll put in the fresh blade. I'm going to, right now it's set to 0. I'm going to change the setting to 10, which is as high as it can go. You notice how you have to manually change the setting of the blade on the Silhouette. Okay, so it's now set to 10. You can see with this red mark. Put it into the housing. What have I done here? Okay. Put the fin forward as it's supposed to be. Push it down, make sure it's all the way down. Clamp it closed. Turn on the machine. And I'm going to use a fresh section of the mat. Actually, it would be this corner. Line it up over here. And I need to be loading cutting mat. Come to the software and I'll make a circle. And it was a 1.5 inch circle that I was using to cut with the Cricut. So I'll do the same thing here. Change the size to 1.5. I'm going to move it over here on my mat because that's where my material is. I'll check my settings. I need to cut, and I think I had put in a setting for shrinking, so I might not have though. Let me see. Haven't been using this very much lately, not since I got my Explorer. Okay, so I'm going to create my own material. I'm going to call it shrink film. I'm going to tell it a 10 setting here. I'm going to lower the speed. It's at the maximum thickness. This is the ratchet blade for the Cameo, that's right. And I need multi-cut. Here we go, double cut. That's all I can select, and then I'll have to do double cut multiple times. I'm going to send that to the Silhouette. I'm not going to unload that because I won't be able to get it back exactly in the same spot. But I'll lift this. And it has not cut through. So that's cut twice, the Explorer had already cut it through at that point. Don't forget that the blade is set to 10, which is the max, and to the maximum pressure in the software, which is 33. We'll cut that again. One, two. And have a look. It has definitely cut in exactly the same spot. It has not cut through. I don't feel anything more than a slight outdent there. One more time. This will be 5 and 6. This is a brand new machine, by the way, because it was replaced under warranty, and listen to the groaning and stuff. Anyway, again, not a mark at all. Okay, so that was 5 and 6. This will be 7 and 8. There's nothing doctored here. Watch the footage again and you'll see there are no splits, no breaks at all in the filming. I'm just showing you what it is. 7 and 8. Check it again. It's exactly the same as it was. Okay, 9 and 10 coming up. Okay, that was 9 and 10. Okay, I'm just going to remove it from the machine. I mean, I could continue, but why should I? I have a Cricut Explore. Okay, here's the front of it. I'm going to try to show you in different angles so that you can see it cut in exactly the same spot every time. Here's the back. You can't feel it, but it's not cut through. Listen. Listen here. It has not cut through. It's a little bit of an outdent here. That was 10 times. That was with a brand new blade. That was with the maximum setting of the blade and the maximum pressure in the software. The Cameo cannot cut through the thinnest of the materials that I show here. Look at them again. This is what the Cameo cannot cut through. And the Cricut Explore has been able to cut through all of these materials. I leave it up to you.